just picture this. I'm in a Golftec bay. This is like a little party kind of thing where we would have salespeople come in the evening, and company would bring their sales team in or whatever. So some people would come in who literally never touched a golf club in their life. And then the golfers, of course, would kind of goad them into making a swing on video. And so this was an opportunity to see somebody who'd never hit a golf ball in their entire lives. What do they do when you just hand them a golf club and go, okay, go ahead and hit one? And every single one of them did the exact same thing. And this changed everything. It was like a light bulb went off. And so what would happen is, on their very first swing, they've never touched a golf club in their life. It's their very first swing. They swing with a pretty good path, not over the top like, you know, like people who've been playing for a long time. They would swing on a pretty good path the very first swing they made. But that club face would come through wide open, aimed way to the right. But every one of these happened to be right-handed players. So the club face would be aimed way to the right. And of course, you know, the ball would just shoot off straight to the right. What happened next was what changed everything for me. And hopefully this is going to change everything for you as well. The very next swing that they made, they started to come a little bit over the top, right? So first swing, right on plane, wide open club face. Next swing, little bit over the top, still an open club face. And I'm telling you, by that fourth, fifth, sixth, by that seventh swing, I mean, they are just swinging over the top like somebody who's been playing golf probably their whole lives. You know, so what it taught me is that over the top downswing, I saw it in real time. It's a response to that open club face. That's all that it is. Now, this happened so long ago for you when you first started playing golf that you didn't realize it at the time. You weren't aware of it at the time. But of course, what it all means is that the over-the-top swing, everybody struggles when they first start to play golf with an open club face. And the response to it that we do really quickly, an open club face for a right-hand player is just a club face aimed right at target, right? So the response that we learn really quickly how to do is swing over the top. And what is over the top? Over the top, if you want to break it down in its simplest terms, all it is swinging your club path to the left as a compensation for your club face that's open or aimed right, as a compensation for that struggle to square up the club face at impact. So what does that mean? So this ties into what I was just talking about as far as why you make progress with that over-the-top swing, but then you go right back. And it's because the first step to fixing over the top is not fixing over the top. And that's what everybody's doing, right? And I asked all the PGA professionals who I'd interview for positions when I owned my Golftec learning centers in Phoenix and Tucson. I would ask them all, what do you fix first, face or path? And 80% of them would say you fix the path first. And that's just wrong. Now we know that, right? With that story that I was just telling you about what actually happened, we know that the answer is you've got to fix your face first. If you don't fix your face first, you're never going to be able to make progress on fixing your over-the-top downswing. So we've got to fix that open club face. That allows you to start swinging that path more from the inside on the downswing. What's the easiest way to start to fix that open club face? Well, it's what you know I teach if you watch any of my videos, which is a strong grip, okay? And this is where we move this lead hand over for a right-handed player to the right on the grip of the club so that this V points over towards this trail shoulder. That is going to allow you to see the third, maybe even a little bit of that fourth knuckle on the back of the left hand, lead hand, I should say, when you look down at your hands at address here. The more you turn your hand over that way, the more the club face wants to rotate over and square up through impact. So that's the first step. Does it, now the question that everybody asks when I start to teach this grip and I show them how to square up the club face, well, okay, if that over the top downswing is just a response to an open club face, does that mean that when we fix that open club face, is it automatically going to fix that over the top downswing? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, it's not. What it does is it doesn't force your swing to autocorrect. It allows you to start making real meaningful progress that lasts with swinging more from the inside on the downswing. You still have to do the work on learning to swing from the inside on the downswing. So how do you go about this? Well, the very first thing, obviously, is to adopt that strong grip, which, by the way, if you want some free lessons that go into a lot of detail on the grip, go to facefirstgolf.com. But the first step is to go to that strong grip. That allows you to start to swing that path more from the inside on the downswing. Then we just start to work on swinging that path more from the inside. And here's a real easy way to kind of start to feel this, which is just put the club just in your right hand or your trail hand here, and just feel this elbow hit your right side and feel that club. Try to feel like you just swing it out to the right for a right-handed player, to the left for a left-handed player, and just start to feel that, right? Just elbow hits that trail hip, and you're kind of feel like you're kind of slinging that out to right field here. And as you're doing that, also let the toe of the club really start to whip past the heel of the club here. Whip past the heel of the club, right? Now, all you do is position this lead hand in that strong position, put that trail hand back on here, try to feel this same thing. It's just trail elbow to trail hip, trail elbow to trail hip, and start to just feel that. And with that strong grip, closed face grip, it should be called. I'm trying to call this a closed face grip. I always call it a strong grip. That's what it's traditionally been called. All it is a closed face grip. So start to just feel that. And you can even just feel that thing turn over a little bit too much right here, okay? So that's how you start to feel this. You go to that strong grip, you feel this, whipping the toe past, slinging it out to kind of right field right here, and then put both hands on, feel that same thing. You can do this right now, wherever you are. If you're in your living room or whatever, just grab any club and you can start to feel this. And this is a great thing to work on over the winter, by the way. We're kind of to that point right now. And this is, now here's what is really important to understand about this. As you start to work on this, you will find that the faster and bigger the swing gets, the less from the inside you're able to swing. There will be a point, you've got to start with these really small, slow swings, and I mean really small and slow. I can't hardly, my hands are completely wet. I don't know if I'll even be able to hold on to the golf club here. Literally, I don't know if I'll be able to hold on to the golf club here, but good strong grip. You can drop this back foot back a little bit. That helps facilitate that path coming that little bit more from the inside, and you just start to sling it out. And that actually came off with a little draw there. So, but that is how you start to feel this. As you start to work on it, and as the swing gets faster and bigger, what's going to end up happening is that there's going to be what I call this Goldilocks spot, right? Not too hot, not too cold. And this is kind of not too big and fast, not too slow, but there's going to be this point there where you're going to feel like, okay, I can do this at 50% speed, 50% length swing, like I just did right there. Then you're going to go to 75%. And then that's where you might start feeling, oh, when I go to 75%, that's when I start to creep back to over the top. That means that that's your Goldilocks spot. That's where you should be spending all of your time, always for peak motivation to really learn something. You need to be working on it right on the edge of your capabilities, okay? That keeps you motivated, keeps you mentally engaged. So if 50% comes easy to you, but at 75%, you see that you start to swing over the top, then you got to work right in that 50 to 75% range. And then your goal is to get to where you can do it with a 75% speed swing. I don't even know if I go 75%, I don't know if this club's going to stay in my hands at this point here. But now, and always make these little rehearsals. Just make this little, feel that elbow hit and feel that toe of the club whip past the heel of the club as you kind of sling that out to right field here. And there, all right. little 75% swing, still made some contact. You know how it is when your hands are wet and you can barely hold on to the club. It's a real bad for your confidence and you have no idea what's going to happen, right? That's how I'm feeling right now. But like I said, this message couldn't wait. I had to get out here and shoot this. I was on my way driving into the eye of the storm here, and not the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm's calm. I was driving into the storm here. So that is how you really start to work on this. And there is no other way, okay? That is something that you just have to accept, that you have to work on this with smaller, slower swings. The more of those smaller, slower, quality reps you make, the better. And when you get out on the golf course, you're gonna feel yourself start to come back over the top. And that's okay, you have to allow that, because that is just your brain jumping in there and saying, okay, I do not trust, I've been making you, your subconscious mind is saying, I've been making you swing over the top for so long to compensate for that open club face. When we get out here on the golf course, I don't trust, brain saying, I don't trust that you are going to be able to square up that club face when you actually swing this path from the inside on the downswing. So I'm going to jump in there, subconscious, I'm going to jump in there and I'm going to force a little over the top swing, because that's going to make Mr. Subconscious here feel more confident that that club face is going to square up at impact. That is why when you work on this over and over and over and you start to feel it and you start to get good at maybe hitting balls into the net at home or just making the motion and you start to really feel this, now you get out on the golf course, all of a sudden you can feel over the top like you never used to be able to feel it. And so this is a real mental battle, because now you're going, man, I really worked on coming from the inside. I really worked on this, really worked on this. Now I get out here and I can feel myself coming over the top. And I'm telling you, when you get out on the golf course, you can't fight that over the top swing. You just have to accept the fact that as you work on this and make those quality reps, slower swings, slower speed, quality reps over and over and over, all of that is going into your brain. All of that is making this start to change. And you're going to be better than you were before. If you used to have a really severe over the top, now you're going to be a little less over the top when you get out on the golf course. Eventually, you're going to be able to actually swing it from the inside on the downswing, but it is a process, and you just have to accept the fact that you're going to have to go through that process, and it's okay because you feel over the top now, but you're never going to go back to as over the top as you used to be. So you're making progress. Better is better. And when you're working on this process, you have to accept that better is better. And then eventually you will be able to actually make a little bit fuller swings, get that good strong grip, feel, I don't know if I can make a full swing here. I mean, hands are completely soaked, grip is soaked here. I don't think I'm going to go for a full swing. I'm going to go a little bit faster here, but we'll try. That actually, I mean, that one popped off the club face a little bit there and felt good and solid. So that is the process. If you like this kind of information, hit like, hit subscribe, enable those alerts. I'm always putting this stuff out. I appreciate you watching this because it's so important that people understand this process. The process just is the process. You can speed it up by practicing very often for short periods of time. I take you through that process, by the way, in my steps program at my website at facefirstgolf.com, where you can get started with those free lessons. If you don't want to go and learn it on my website, follow along here, because I'm always going to be talking about these same things, because this is the message that you need.